Good morning, everyone. Here we are. It is September 11th, 2017, and it's Bev Paul.
It is.
My name's Paul.
I'm Bev.
Yes. And if you'll notice, we're trying to do a little something different today. We didn't have our music because we want to make sure that everybody knows what the purpose of these shows are for those who are tuning in and they only stay for those first few seconds.
Right.
So we want everybody to know that these shows are really about making sure that we show you how to do BioTouch, right? That's the first thing.
Oh, right.
And then we also want to go over always the vision. You know, what is the foundation based on? Why do we want BioTouch out there in the world? And we have some really good things to bring up today. And there was a third thing too, right? That was...
Yeah, we're really kind of, maybe this is something new, but we'd really like to start having more dialogue with everyone. And that can be in, asking us questions or comments or just sharing something during the show. So we're kind of learning ourselves still how to do a lot of things. So we'll just see how that goes.
Yep.
But that would be really nice in our second year to start doing that.
So we're trying to do where people can ask questions online on the Facebook Live, and then when we repost this, we're going to try and have it where people can actually also make comments, and hopefully have everybody click on a link to learn how to do BioTouch. By the end of the 20 minutes, we really want you to feel comfortable doing it.
Oh,
because
right.
that's the key.
That
Just
is.
reaching out with those two fingers and touching. Have you? Does it show yet on your phone? We're trying to figure out how we can see where the. It's not.
I'm not seeing.
Oh, there it is.
There
Okay,
we go.
so I guess we can see if
Okay.
you're. Ooh, all right. If you're out there and you want to give us some testing, just even saying hi, letting us know you're there.
Right.
We know there's a couple of people on there, so it should show. I think if you tap it,
Yeah, it'll get bigger.
and it'll show the comments too.
Oh,
There we go. Oh, yes. So we're going to try that. Turn down the
Yep,
voice.
I got to turn it down.
Sorry for this little technical thing here.
I don't know. Maybe it won't.
Yeah, there. Okay, that's good.
Okay, that's good.
So anyhow, what we'd like to do is honor the fact that today is the anniversary of 9/11.
Yes,
That very
it is.
tough time that hit the country.
Right.
And, right?
It was. I think we all kind of have our own, different thoughts about what that event brought
I was in Hawaii.
to us. Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was like 4 in the morning or something. Something
Yeah.
woke me up and I got onto the TV.
Wow.
So we want to go over that kind of an emergency, that kind of thing that happens in our life, and how BioTouch can be effective with that.
Oh, right. Because
So-
there's a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, we just had last night. I spent almost the whole day in front of the TV watching right there as Irma was going up into Florida, and just the anxiousness that we all feel, and so how I just kept thinking how BioTouch can be so beneficial in those situations.
Oh, my goodness.
And in the
Right.
middle of all that, the Dalai Lama goes live from Ireland. I mean, I was like, okay, well, this will be a good show. So we'll get to that
We
in a
will,
minute. But
yep.
let's
Yep.
do what we always do
Yep.
and share about our dream catcher.
Okay.
So, tell
our
us a little
beautiful
about that.
dream catcher. Yes, that's in our center here in Tucson, and we have literally been the custodians of this beautiful piece of art for about a year now, and brought into vision by Lorraine Mills in 2012, on actually December 12th, 2012. So it's quite a work of art, and a collective
And
work
such
of
a,
art.
it's just gorgeous. For those who's heard about it first time, it's 4 feet across with mesquite wood that's been bent and then intertwined with all these wonderful things from the 4 corners of the United States and then from other places around the world. And so what we've done is every week we put someone into the middle. And this week, Melly Horowitz is in the center of the Dreamcatcher. Congratulations, Melly.
Melly.
She's just started her intern work with us.
She's
Oh, no, she hasn't started. She wants to. She has to do one more day of the class, doesn't
right,
she?
and then she's going to start doing she's going to take the certification class in November, and start, doing her intern. And we're just so happy to have her with us. She is a lovely, lovely person.
So love and blessings and healing to you, Melly.
Yes.
We hope that you enjoy. Taking everybody's picture for this thing is always funny. They go, "Oh, I don't know," but it looks great.
It was
Good
beautiful.
picture, Melly. Good
Yes.
picture.
Yeah, it's great.
So if you'd like to be in the Dreamcatcher, send us a photo of yourself where you reside on the planet, and we'll put you into our little pot. And Bev picks one on a Thursday for the following week. So here we go. All right. So we wanted to read a little bit from our manual, right?
Yes.
As we move into this. How to work in emergency situations,
Right.
Distressful situations. So,
Yeah, this is from our preface. It's just one line. Very powerful, though, but it sets up what we're really going to address today. Anybody who learns these procedures will be effective in relieving the distress of their fellow human beings. Very distress. And that is, putting it mildly, what's happening right now to all of us. In the United States especially, all of these, the fires in the West and the water that's going on, I can't help but think, these are the two elements. One is fire is purifying and water is cleansing. And it's happening on, of course, physically we can see it and we're experiencing it, but it has, implications that what we're seeing is this heart, our great heart of this nation and humanity itself is beginning to crack open. And there's many, many of us who remember that we are here to love and serve each other and the planet, and all living beings. That's really, we're the guardians. We are the custodians, and our hearts are opening, and it's bringing us into a presence, which, of course, we always try to bring all of that back into the power of BioTouch.
Right, and interesting you talked about the United States, because even I just heard last week, and I sent Chetna, our certified practitioner, an email because Mumbai, I guess that whole area is inundated with water.
Yes, I heard.
And they're flooded out, and
Right.
And then we hear about these devastations and famine that's happening.
How about the earthquake in Mexico?
Yes, and then that too. So
it's a planetary
thing.
activity.
It's just going crazy.
And it's for all of us. It's all for all of humanity.
And so yesterday, in the middle of this turmoil with Irma, all of a sudden what pops up on my phone is go live. The Dalai Lama's live in Ireland.
Ooh.
And there's something real different about being live. You can watch these afterwards, but when they're talking at that moment,
right,
it creates a whole different energy, and we're real grateful to be doing this with all of you out there too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Write us your questions out there. We have a few people who are watching.
Good.
But the Dalai Lama was real interesting because in the midst of what you just said, this heart space and the purging and the cleansing, he really said it was time to take action in this next decade to really talk about peace, to bring patience and compassion into action in our lives. And of course, all I could think about was BioTouch.
Because what do we say in our mission? It is the application of the golden rule, love thy neighbor. It's the physical application, lightly touching someone on the skin. Wow.
Incredible. And
it opens that door, doesn't it? I
just went to a guy who brought me to his insurance company and had me talk to, a dozen of his staff. And that was it was just like the Dalai Lama said. He said, I talked to thousands and millions of people. He said, if 10 people get it, and they tell 10 others, now we got 10 times 10.
You do.
And then you got 10 times that. And so that's all I think we're really trying to do. We're trying to be consistent. And if 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people get it, and then tell 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 other people, BioTouch really can be a vital part of our life.
Oh, I agree. It's like what we've been talking about. It's about us creating this web of humanity that is already connected. I always think about BioTouch as one of its gifts is it's here now because we're in the process of remembering that we are just love. And it's, like I said, pouring out of us. It's time. It's time, and it's time for BioTouch to step in and really bring into humanity's consciousness what it's always been intended to do.
So imagine, if you would, having BioTouch in some of these situations. First responders. What if first responders knew just the greeting? And I'm going to share a few testimonials I've had, or all these people that are put into these shelters, and the intensity of, with all these people, tens of thousands of people in this little room. It's funny because when I first started BioTouch, I always thought, oh my gosh, if I ever got stuck in a shelter or something where people screaming kids, or people were angry, or they finally get agitated after a few hours and a few days, I was playing the dulcimer, then I thought, well, I could always play the dulcimer, and then it was like, but I could always do BioTouch.
You could always. Well, think about this. If you're in a situation where there's many people in like in one room in a shelter, the power of BioTouch is that anybody who knows the greeting or the stress set can teach everyone else in that room those sets of points in a matter of minutes, and everybody can turn to everybody else and give the greeting and start doing stress on each other.
Well,
oh my goodness.
And it's interesting whenever I do a presentation and I first have people just reach over and touch each other on the skin. Well, I remember once I was at a presentation it was a zoo thing, and there were hundreds of people there, and I was supposed to present about volunteerism, and so everybody's yakking away, nobody's listening to me, and so I said, okay, what we want everybody to do is take two fingers of one hand, and I want you to reach over and just touch the person next to you lightly, somewhere on the skin of the neck or the arm. The place for a moment was silent.
It shifted
It
everything.
shifted completely for those few seconds, and then when we were done, people started talking again. And I see that every time I do a presentation.
Oh, I know. I've seen it too. It's amazing. The whole room just shifts into something different. It comes into a place of this peace that the Dalai Lama, this peace and compassion for each other. It's just the most incredible thing.
So if you're out there watching, and we just want to see if this works, sort of just type in there a little bit of a place you were in an emergency once, and you could say hospital, you could say family. I wanted to share a couple of other emergency things I worked on, and it works really well. We had a few practitioners when they had come upon an accident, like a car accident, and the people were already out, and they're sitting there, and of course what happens is you're immediately in shock. The body, you can't do anything about it. The body goes into shock. And we were able to just do the greeting and just even a little neck work and head work to immediately have the people calm down. And you could see it. They immediately calmed down by the time the first responders could show up.
That's interesting, because even in a case of, say somebody is in deep shock or even unconscious, the body responds first to BioTouch. It knows that touch, it gets it, and it will immediately start taking that touch and moving it to, because it's an intelligent unit. So that it speaks,
So we had Julie, who said one of her emergencies was in my home. Yes. How many people have children and family members, and the kids fall, or they break an arm, or they fall off the swing, or
or oh my goodness,
daddy trips on the remote trying to get to his next dessert while he's watching the football game or something.
Oh, there's a good scenario. You been there?
I haven't been a daddy.
You haven't been a daddy. Okay.
So it's like in the home. I mean, how perfect that we have. It's not just about some 9/11, which we only get to watch on TV, but those emergencies we have right there in the home, right there, in the living room, out in the park, with the kids or the family.
Or you're just in the midst of humanity somewhere, and somebody goes into a crisis.
Yes.
And you're able to step in and help this stranger.
So here's another good story.
Here's another. Oh, goody! I like good stories.
So I'm with my brother in Hawaii. Okay.
Okay.
And we're leaving this hotel that we're at, and we're driving away, and I see this group of people, and I think it was the football. They do their yearly football thing there, the National Football League,
Okay.
and there's a bunch of people around somebody, and I noticed that it's somebody who's having an epileptic attack. And so people are gathered around, and we're starting to drive away, and I said to my brother, I said, I can't leave. You got to turn back.
As you put on your cape.
Right.
Yeah.
So we turn around, we go back, and I walk into the middle of the circle, okay? And I immediately start doing the greeting, okay? And I start trying to do the headset while this guy's flopping around in an epileptic attack.
Wow.
And the funny thing was, somebody said, "Are you a doctor?" And I went, yeah, sure, you know? And so I'm doing this thing, and within minutes, and they've already called 911, within minutes, this young fellow jumps up, okay, like he's fine all of a sudden.
Wow.
The first responders show up, the EMTs show up, and I sort of disappear through the crowd, and I can hear people saying, "Who was that guy?"
Who was that man? Superhero. BioTouch man.
Yeah, so, you know, I find it very hard to leave situations because I know I have something.
Oh,
You know?
which is, I just had a conversation with a couple of interns the other day, and what we remembered was BioTouch gives us something to do. Talk about putting something in action instead of standing back feeling helpless, whether it's an emergency situation or you're a caregiver for someone,
Yes.
family member. You can participate in whatever is called for because you now have a powerful tool to help. I mean, it just makes the whole experience for the practitioner totally different.
Yep.
You know, you're on that journey. It's compassion. Yeah.
It's compassion and it's patience, you
Oh,
know, and it's
gosh.
just a perfect way to bring love into, and that's the thing, all these situations are on an opportunity, like you said, to
Yeah.
remember love. And the last one I'd like to share was a crisis that happened to me once. Was I was in this situation, and this young man started to try and strangle me to death, okay, and he had me in a headlock, and he's choking me, and all I could think about was BioTouch, and so somehow I snuck this finger, you know, the two fingers of that dominant hand up to where I could get into that solar plexus area.
Wow.
And the minute I was able to get to that greeting point, he let go for a second, and I could get away and run away. And by that time, the cops had showed up, and
Oh my gosh.
so
Wow.
So it was like, you know, the power of love, you know. And though I lived in fear, though I was at my last breath, and I could still do the greeting, and it just showed me again, there's no intent. It was an emergency situation. I didn't have to think about it. It was automatic for me.
Right. Well, for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think that's the reason of these shows. We just want it to become automatic. It's just something you do. You don't have to think about it. BioTouch is so simple, and like you said here, what was it, you know?
Relieve the distress.
Yeah, these simple procedures can relieve the distress of another human being.
Exactly. Oh, gosh. Well, it's certainly, when we're talking about you and I doing these shows, I always think about how we have stepped into what we feel is a responsibility to share BioTouch because it's so incredibly accessible and powerful and already a gift that all of you possess, the ability to learn very quickly and use immediately, and oh my gosh, you're totally effective right then. And for us, this is how we can contribute to this opening of the heart for humanity and this consciousness that's happening, because BioTouch is so incredibly present now, and it's a gift for all of us to use to come into a rapport with each other, a relationship with each other, and have that heart begin to really open up more and more.
Yeah. So let's we just got a little time left here.
Yeah,
let's actually show people just how to do the greeting. You know, just real simple.
Absolutely.
And here we go.
Yep.
The greeting is always performed at the beginning of each session. It's the only set that uses one hand and the only set that indicates which hand to use. The greeting is performed with the dominant hand. If you are right-handed, use your right hand. If you are left-handed, use your left hand. The greeting is made by touching at point 1, which is in the fleshy area.
Well, like we said,
Still a learning process.
still a learning process. That was the greeting. You just hold 6 to 8 seconds at the end of the breastbone, and then you hold 6 to 8 seconds to the left of the big bone. But what we started showing here was where the book is. BioTouch, Healing with the Power in Our Fingertips.
Yeah.
And these are just different pictures from around the world where people have taken the book. So we encourage you to take a picture of the book wherever you are and send it to us. And we do have some news about where the book is going to be next.
Yeah,
Tell us.
It's really wonderful. So here in Pima County in Arizona, enough people have gone online actually into the library system and requested the book to be on the shelves, and that's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. So if you're out there listening and watching, just type in where you, what county you're in and what state. Just put that into the comments so we can see and maybe get hold of you to help you coordinate a way for us to get into your county libraries, because that's a big deal. When you get into the library system, that is quite the situation. So
and you're also just helping to share BioTouch with everyone.
So write your comment there, and there's a link on the site if you're here at the end of it to get more information about how to do BioTouch. And that was definitely a most interesting 20 minutes, Bev.
Boy, was it quick. It goes fast.
Yeah. So, we hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah.
If you have any ideas for us, please let us know.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. We're just looking forward to our second year of continuing to share BioTouch with all of you and to help you to learn it so that you can have it in your own lives. That's what we're doing here.
It is, and we hope you enjoyed the show today, and thank you, Bev.
Thank you, Paul.
And thank you, everybody else.
Have a glorious week, everyone.